Thank you, Mr. Chair. Earlier in her comments, Senator Murkowski mentioned the GRIP program, and I know Senator Hirono asked questions that I want to build on. But to remind us all, the part of the bipartisan infrastructure law allows for the Grid Deployment Office to administer the $10.5 billion Grid Resiliency Innovation Partnership Program to enhance grid flexibility and resiliency. Now, resiliency of the grid to extreme weather events has been a major priority of mine, with California being sort of an exhibit A on the real-time impacts of the climate crisis. So I was thrilled to hear yesterday's announcement of $3.46 billion under the GRID program for 58 projects across 44 states, including multiple projects in California. Now, as with any award, there's good news for those who received an award and questions by those who had applied but were unsuccessful, at least in this particular round. Question for Mr. Crane: how are we ensuring that there's a wide array of selected applicants, particularly the types of entities owning and operating the infrastructure they're trying to enhance?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. Welcome to the committee, and congratulations on the awards that California received yesterday. I actually got to visit with Mayor of Los Angeles, came through our office yesterday, and so we were very excited about that. I don't know, the expression, the proof is in the pudding. I think of the 58 awards for the grid was in 40 states, and the good news, you mentioned the 10.5 billion, only 3.5 billion is going out, so there'll be a second round of awards. And as I mentioned a little earlier, we're very keen to see more wildfire mitigation, and one of the things we're doing on all the follow-on FOAs is doing a gap analysis so that as we put out the second FOA, we can sort of guide applicants from across the country to what we felt that was left undone by the first. And so we have webinars, we put it right into the FOA language, and so, and we're happy to have direct conversations if you'd like.
Wonderful, and I'll just confirm for me that would include not just new applicants, but applicants that were unsuccessful this round, getting some sort of feedback and guidance on how to have a higher quality application maybe next go around, be more competitive?
We definitely are willing to give feedback to applicants as much as we can. It's just some of these processes are 10 times oversubscribed. So sometimes we know there's a lot of frustration there. We're trying to work through that, Senator, but we will do our best to provide any direct feedback on individual unsuccessful applications that we can.
Okay. Now, another element of the bipartisan infrastructure law was the creation of the Joint Office of Energy and Transportation in our efforts to help deploy zero-emission vehicles and expand related infrastructure. It seems that to date, the Joint Office has focused almost exclusively on light-duty vehicles, despite the fact that it's heavy-duty vehicles that disproportionately contribute to the adverse air quality in communities where there's concentrations of good movement facilities and infrastructure. So one of the reasons I'm glad to be part of this committee now to help raise this issue. Anybody who's monitored hearings in the Environment and Public Works Committee, where I am a member, knows that I've repeatedly asked about the impacts to California's air quality, particularly those areas with significant goods movement infrastructure, and the need to transition to zero-emission heavy-duty vehicles and build out that corresponding infrastructure. So, Mr. Crane, once again, how can the Joint Office expand its focus to also prioritize zero-emission, medium, and heavy-duty infrastructure as part of its core mission?
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for your focus on this area. I spoke to Gabe, who runs the Joint Office, specifically about this point a few months ago, and he confirmed what you said, that most of their programs were on light-duty vehicles. We think now that we've got the selections out there, particularly on hydrogen, and of course, as you know, there's a question of where do battery vehicles stop and hydrogen begins. We have the California hub, which was a key part of its success was the possibility of creating hydrogen-powered vehicles to do drayage out of the Port of Los Angeles and Long Beach. There's also a Pacific Northwest hub, we would love to see the western states become for Class 7, Class 8 vehicles, a hydrogen-powered corridor, both for decarbonizing and for local air quality purposes. So we'd love to work with you, Senator Cortez Masto, and to do that in your region.
Thank you. And I, too, will be submitting some additional questions for the record after today's hearing. But just to end on this note, look forward to working with you to ensure that eligible utilities, particularly those serving areas around high-priority ports, industrial zones, and freight corridors, are submitting the high-quality, high-need applications. And we also want to look at leveraging fundings across programs and across agencies to get maximum benefit. So thank you, Mr. Chair.